All right, boys, we did it. Captain America Brave New World came out. It made $192 million worldwide its opening weekend, $100 million domestically. Gentlemen, wow. I want to shake your hand because we all, great shaking the hand. I want to shake your hand because we got it all correct.
We did.
We all predicted over $95 million domestically, and all three of us, for the first time in the history of this show, are all correct. I'm happy.
We're batting 1,000. We're batting 1,000.
Fantastic time. We
That's
got it right, Kellerman. Be happy.
I am happy. I like to think that I got it right since you asked me first, and then you guys also got it right.
Take it. Whatever makes you feel better, we all got it correct. Now, Alche, I'm coming to you first because we may have created a little bit of an internet firestorm with some of the clips we sent out about what Alche had to say about that movie, but I do want to say from the jump, you, for the entirety of this movie, you said it would make $715 million globally when it was all said and done.
I did.
That was the lowest of the three of us. It has overperformed expectations so far. Do you feel bad about that 715 prediction?
I'm trying to hold on to the fact that the legs of this thing with the reviews of how terrible it is, and we'll get Kellerman spoiler-free review very shortly, but with the reviews of this thing being one of the lowest ever on Rotten Tomatoes, sitting at 51%, correct? That's insane.
It's low.
That's low. You're talking about great. Some Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? That's some low bar, but there's nothing else really in its way for at least a month.
Exactly.
So I'm going to say, yes, I'm slightly nervous, but I'm not changing my bet. I still am betting on 715. However, hitting 100 domestically in the opening 4 days?
Yeah,
solid.
Fantastic.
Unbelievable.
It was a holiday weekend. It doesn't have a lot of competition, even though Paddington in Peru came out. We talked about that as well last week. But Kellerman, you were the man that had the highest evaluation of this league. $850 million you predicted for Captain America. It, as we said, hit $100 million domestically. That's higher than Captain America Winter Soldier did, which ended around Alche's number at 714. It is lower, however, than Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which is one of the worst superhero titled movies I've ever heard of in my life. And Ant-Man ended up making way less than that 715 number. You predicted 850 worldwide. You've seen this movie. Again, spoiler-free review in a moment. Are you still confident in your 850 number?
I'm less confident because of the continuing negative reviews. We'll get to my review in a minute, but I think that it will. I think it'll get there.
I mean, it's a big deal because, again, it's the first movie of the year that is making this kind of money. It kind of gets everyone excited. Oh, man, movies are back. We're going back to the theater after the holidays here. New year, new me, new movies. But everyone thinks this movie's terrible except for the man to my right.
But I will say this. My worry is Ant-Man is Ant-Man. This is Captain America, like different. Much more beloved character in the MCU. It's Ant-Man. Like, yeah, it was never going to make $850 million regardless if it was good or not. So my worry is that it's Captain America. Everyone who is the biggest Marvel fan to the me's of the world, like Captain America, love Captain America. And that's worrisome for me.
Now, do you want to? I'm happy you're putting out these, olive branches now. Do you want to say anything to the Anthony Mackie stands out there?
No, I don't. I stand by my Anthony Mackie review. Still a middling actor, just rolling in the dough. Good for you, Captain America, new Captain America. Happy you're making money. Happy that people are seeing the movie. But sorry, Anthony Mackie, you're not it.
Oof. Speaking of not it, Kellerman, you went and saw this movie opening weekend. You saw it in IMAX at the AMC Burbank. We love you over there. Can you tell me, spoiler-free review of Captain America Brave New World for the two of us that have not seen it?
I'm going to do my best. First, I'm going to try not to hulk out at my rage that you two didn't go see this movie because we are on a movie podcast where we talk about these movies. However, it takes all kinds, and people form opinions based on all kinds of things.
While you were out watching the movie in the theater, I was at home watching Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boys. So
Bridget Jones' Brave New World. I was catching up on season 3 of The Traitors. I don't know. I think that was more entertaining than Brave New World.
We all make mistakes. I didn't, though, because I went to see Captain America Brave New World, and I thought it was awesome. And I think that Anthony Mackie held it down perfectly.
The good news is this full review will be posted to our Substack, which you should sign up for. Link is in the description of the episode. And while we're here, feel free to like and subscribe. Everything we do is we are a growing movie podcast channel with one guy that watches movies and two guys that talk about them.
Here's the thing about Captain America Brave New World. It's weird.
Good start.
Don't drop your thesis now.
Captain America. It's weird.
See, on the one hand, it does have what I consider to be some glaring plot holes. And tonally, it's one of the most confusing movies I've ever seen in my life. However, the weirdest part about it is the touchstone movies that you need to have seen to understand everything in this one are The Incredible Hulk from 2007. With Edward Norton. And The Eternals.
With no one.
With a bunch of people, but I mean, with no one. Angelina Jolie, Barry Koenig, there's a ton of people in it. But those are two weird touchstones to pick up from.
Yeah.
Yes. When's the last time you watched the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk? 2006, you said?
TJ has just corrected me that The Incredible Hulk came out in 2008.
Great, don't stall. When's the last time that you watched The Incredible Hulk from 2008?
Just recently. I'm currently doing a full rewatch of the MCU, which is part of what I want to talk about. On the other hand, though, I think it deserves a lot of credit for feeling more connected to the rest of the MCU than more recent Marvel movies have.
I'll accept that.
That's a good positive for me. That's actually selling me.
It also lays a lot of seeds that I think will be important in the future that are really exciting to me as a comic book fan.
Oh, good. More seeds
for
the Marvel Universe to make good on 9 to 12 movies later.
Tell me how that is different than any other Marvel movie over the past 2 decades. But okay, keep going.
I think that these newer seeds are more exciting than some of the other seeds that may have been planted. Nobody cares about Black Knight with his sword at the end of Eternals or whatever it was.
Those words were English, and they do make sense, not to this brain.
I think Anthony Mackie does a great job of holding down the whole movie. He's a great, less than perfect Captain America, which is the departure from previous Captain Americas. He exemplifies this early in the movie by drinking and using some profanity, and then during the first fight, he actually is set up to say, I could do this all day, like the classic Steve Rogers line.
Right.
And instead he says, I've got shit to do today, which I thought was a great way to show the difference between these two characters. And
I like the idea of an imperfect Captain America. So again, I'm intrigued. But you're not. I'm probably at 43% going in theaters at this point.
It's also a Captain America that sort of steps into the future. There's a lot more technology built into the suit and those sorts of things, which is a big difference from Steve Rogers' old-fashioned 40s style Captain America.
Okay. Curious.
And speaking of the fight scenes, that might be my biggest critique, because even though they are big and fun, and I like a lot of them, and some of them are even beautiful, they're not very complex. And what I mean is, I think in a lot of Marvel fight scenes that are memorable, there's a lot of the good guy almost winning, and then something happens, and oh no, they have to like redo it over and over and over again, so they really have to earn the win.
Yeah.
That does not happen in this movie.
Great.
Not once.
So what I'm getting is Anthony Mackie does great as sort of the not great Captain America. Tonally, it's really crappy. It doesn't look very good. The writing's not very good, and the fights suck.
I didn't say anything about it not looking good.
Okay.
You made that part up.
Okay.
I
That's
thought
what
it looked great. And I had a conversation with someone afterwards where they were talking about how they could tell the reshoots and some of the visual effects didn't look as good. I did not notice that. I did not notice that at any point. There was no time where I thought, oh, that visual effect looked worse than a different one. I actually have an alternate spoiler-free review. And that is that this movie was a fantastic Hulk movie without the Hulk. It was maybe even the perfect sequel to 2008's Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton. Both villains are classic comic book Hulk villains. General Ross and his relationship with his daughter Betty, who is Bruce Banner's love, also a huge part of the plot.
A Betty named Betty, huh?
A Betty named Betty. Not to mention the fact that gamma radiation plays a part in a lot of it, so it's like...
Check the bingo card.
It is a Hulk movie, and it is weird that there is no Bruce Banner or Hulk in it.
If Harrison Ford was an MLB pitcher and he's still playing in his later years, how fast is his fastball in this movie?
Oh, it's not that fast.
Okay, I'm out.
I've got some spoilery things to say about that I'll say another time.
Check it out on the
Substack.
Overall, on a the first ever box office buds rating that we're going to give a movie here, you saw Captain America: Brave New World. What is the number rating you're going to give it?
8 Mackies.
8 Mackies, the first ever Mackie Award winner, Captain America: Brave New World. Again, 192 million globally. That was the spoiler-free review. Look online. We might have a spoiler-filled review from Mr. Alexander Kellerman. Alche, were you convinced to see it?
No.